Hello, Taurus. Thank you for your patience. Let's go and get into your reading for the last bit of October 2019. Show me energy present for the sign of Taurus. Okay. First card out, you have the Five of Swords in reverse. So, excellent card to have the Five of Swords in reverse. Overall, that five, it really can talk about a lot of things. People that treat us poorly in our lives, people that disregard us, they don't pay attention to us, they play mind games with us. It's about getting out of that. It's about releasing it, whether you're playing mind games with people, you're playing mind games with others, or that's the same thing. I'm sorry, I just have this creepy guy texting me right now, and I'm getting him out of my brain. So it can also be too, Taurus, where we are paying attention to how we also think about things. The Five of Swords can be a card of self-sabotage a lot of the time. It's looking at our behaviors, it's looking at the destructive stuff that we tend to do and kind of getting it in check, realizing what is necessary in regard to healing that energy, moving it forward, letting it go, okay? Either way, the Five of Swords is a great card to have in reverse. Show me more for Taurus. So you have the Devil, Capricorn energy, and you have the Queen of Pentacles, yourself. So in regard to this, what I'm feeling here is that there may be a connection still to this energy. It's like getting out of it, but also being immersed in it, whether that be a personal, self-sabotaging, self-sabotory thought process that we deal with all the time. We're constantly self-sabotaging, by the way. We're not perfect, nothing is perfect. We go against ourselves consistently. But it feels like there's a heavy connection to that. It feels like there seems to be a toxic connection to emotions here, an emotional, either the way that we talk about ourselves, feel about ourselves. It's if we berate ourselves, like that type of like self-deprecating, painful, I'm worthless type of thought process, it feels like there's a connection there, and it seems to be getting in the way of the natural you, the beautiful you that you can be. Look at this Queen of Pentacles. She's crying, okay? She's crying and she's being taken over by roots, whatever that is. But she's crying, and she's crying diamonds. So no matter what, you've got beauty in you. There's strength in you always, a lot of pressure goes into making a diamond. It feels like it's a lot of pressure here as well to just relieve yourself from this energy. We're going to get into these a little bit more, but overall what I'm feeling is like, releasing this type of pattern, because it's standing in the way of you being you. It's standing in the way of you actually experiencing stability within your life. The Queen of Pentacles is all about stability. She's about, her home, her life, her family, her job, oftentimes entrepreneurial in different ways, or very different type of energy, very nurturing spirit. But when do we nurture ourselves? When do we take care of ourselves? It feels like this connection to this energy that we're trying to move away from, it's still very present. Show me more. So you have the Six of Wands here. Six of Wands can talk about forward movement, progression. It can talk about being recognized for your efforts. So many things, victorious in certain ways. Community, a lot of things. Show me more for Taurus, please. So this fell on the Five of Swords. It's the Five of Wands. It's conflict. Six of Wands, Five of Wands. You're going backwards. Give me one more for Taurus. Okay. And now you're going forwards. The Fool. And who is on the bottom of the deck? The Magician. Excellent. Okay, so Taurus. Releasing things that it's not intentional. It's sometimes we just get stuck in patterns and narratives in our mind and in our heart. We, continue problems within our life. We hurt ourselves, we talk poorly about ourselves, we feel like shit, and we think that we deserve to feel like shit. It's not about that. It's about releasing that type of energy here. It's about standing within your own power. You have two cards, the Magician and the Fool, two cards of the direction that you're going in, but it's those are huge energies. Three major arcana here within a spread of 6, 7, that's pretty significant changes that are happening, but there are also significant things that we need to look into, like the Devil here. Like, where do we hurt ourselves? Where are we being toxic with ourselves? What type of bullshit are we putting ourselves through over and over and over again? Whether it be because we're comfortable in it, whether it be because that's what we believe about ourselves, it's all we know, or we're around people who treat us this way. It's really about letting go of those things and moving on to something better that will help you feel stable in your life. With the Six of Wands, it's almost as if like we get up and go and then we have opposition. It's like we're moving forward, we're doing what we're trying to do, and then we have opposition. Okay, we're conflicted. And I feel here it's important to pay attention to yourself, be patient with your progression. You have the strength, the Lion here within this Five of Wands card. It's like if you look, it's like he's flying to the future, moving towards very, very quickly. But you have to also take time to heal. Like, that doesn't happen immediately overnight. So you're on this progression, and then it's like, bam, back to the problem. It's like this weird cycle. The Fool talks about changing it all. It talks about finding different ways to experience life. It's new awareness, new awakening, stepping on a different path entirely. But oftentimes with the Fool and the Magician, this happens when we experience, we pay attention to the things that we've experienced in the past. We fine tune the lessons from what we've experienced in the past, because it's the only way that we can learn, or one of the ways that we can learn. And it moves us towards the future, but it gives us better footing, okay? It gives us better footing to move towards the future in a positive way. This, oftentimes for people, this is a lifetime endeavor. Oftentimes we're never going to let this kind of stuff go. There's, no matter what, I mean, unless you are like one of those human beings on this planet that's just like, I have no issues with myself, and you're a good person. You're not like a total like self-absorbed asshole, but like you're a good person and you don't find fault with yourself. That's incredibly rare, especially today. Everybody has a body issue. Everybody has a problem. Everybody's berating themselves and beating themselves up about something, so many things, oh my God, I ate a jelly bean. I'm such a fat pig. Like, what the fuck? You ate a jelly bean. I hope it was fucking delicious. Like, Jesus, that kind of shit. I just feel like this is an ongoing situation, but the biggest situation that needs to be taken care of here is recognizing the toxic connections that we have, whether that be with ourselves or with others. So let's go ahead and clarify this reading here, Taurus. Not picking those up yet, or I'm not putting them out. I want to shuffle a little bit. Show me the Five of Swords in reverse for Taurus. Ace of Pentacles, potentials, new opportunities. Standing in your way is the Devil. He's here. He's here. It takes time. And, I think the self-talk is the big thing here. The self-talk. It's obstructing your potential and progression. But what I'm also feeling here too is that we are lustful creatures. we are creatures of habit and comfort. We are creatures of sexual um, appetite. We endeavor into depravities that we enjoy and we uphold. Okay, so there are things here that need to kind of be sussed out where we can actually, I guess, create some sort of happiness within it versus berating ourselves or feeling like we're disgusting. If you're going to do a specific thing, like do it. Like, oh my God, look at that tub of ice cream. Oh shit, I ate that tub of ice cream. I ate it with a smile. That's so fucking wonderful. Look at that little fat roll on my back. I love you. I love you, fat roll. Like, I did that and I did it proud. I love that fucking ice cream, whatever it is. Don't berate yourself about things like that, okay, Taurus? I feel here too, like avenues of lust and things, we kind of need to rewire those mechanisms in regard to how maybe we are feeling about that, because we all have sexuality within us. And there's an energy here. What I'm feeling is like almost like that kundalini energy, like the serpent energy within. um Very, 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 it's almost like a sexual type of magnetism magic that can very much be healing, but in the same breath be very destructive. That's the kind of stuff I'm feeling with the devil being presented here twice. But whatever it is, Taurus, it's getting in the way of your stability. It's getting in the way of you feeling comfortable with yourself. New beginnings here, new potentials, just things to think about along the way and how we treat ourselves. Show me the devil, please. Page of Wands here. And the Seven of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. So the Page of Wands oftentimes it can be communication with somebody. Oftentimes it's a younger person. It doesn't have to be a person, but it can be a younger person, younger fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It can also talk about direction, like getting very excited about moving towards a different direction or a new direction, being all like ready to go, and then not knowing exactly what you're getting into, like kind of having all of the information or not having all of the information, but you want to, but you can't. Sometimes it can be very, with the devil energy here, it's almost like sporadic energies, getting into things that are half-baked, things that don't make sense. Sometimes just going by our like primal instinct, whether that be like hunger, sex, self, like licking your wounds type thing, like self-soothing aspects. The Seven of Swords is a card of lying, stealing, cheating, thievery. Now, a lot of people think, oh God, no, somebody's going to steal from me. Well, what if it's you stealing from you? What if it's you betraying yourself? Like, that's a possibility here too, especially with the devil here presented. Looking into those toxic connections that we have, not just with others, but also with ourselves. Show me the Queen of Pentacles here. Please show me the Queen of Pentacles for Taurus. You have the Seven of Wands here, Taurus. So the Seven of Wands talks about being highly anxious, super in your feelings, very, very uncomfortable in your mind, in your body, having, fighting with yourself, fighting with other people. Sometimes it's needing to get a different perspective on situations. And I feel that that's kind of where this goes, especially with the Queen of Pentacles here. I think it's important to, some of you are like, it's almost as if like, don't try and stop me. I'm going in here and I'm going to shut the fucking door. Don't stop me. I'm like going in and that's it. Like, you're not going to see me for a bit. That's what I'm feeling here. And I don't want to fight. This card is about opposition and fighting. It's about anxiety from having to like uphold your own position and thoughts and ideas about situations. Here it's like, don't try me. There's no point in it. I'm doing what I need to do for myself. All right, show me the Six of Wands here. So you have two cards popping out. You have the Four of Cups. And you have the Wheel of Fortune. So for the Six of Wands, the Four of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune, and look who's at the bottom of the deck, the Seven of Wands again. This is basically, sticking to your guns. As far as the Six of Wands is concerned, yes, being recognized for your efforts, but it's also about making the efforts, taking the time to make the effort so you can actually work through things. I feel here that there's like a lot of healing the self energy, moving towards things in a very rapid way, but also having to fine tune like how quickly you move towards things, because progression happens as it happens. You can't force a change, but it's happening regardless. The Fool, the Magician, it's happening full speed ahead. It just depends on how you do it. You can't like shed your skin quickly. It's going to take time. Snakes allow their skin to fall off as it comes. They don't just rip it off. The Four of Cups basically says we are, taking time for ourselves. Sometimes it's an emotional disconnection from people. We don't really want to receive. We don't want to give. It's just kind of being in like a neutral state within ourselves, if possible. It's like the Four of Swords. It's kind of like a healing energy. Like sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's a bit of both, but we're taking that time for ourselves, even to the point of becoming bored. It's like, ugh, I've had enough time with myself. Let's do something, But whatever's happening here, the Wheel of Fortune is moving things through, moving things forward. This is about significant change, huge change. You have huge change, and then a powerful beginning comes. I think, though, one thing that I do want to say here with the Wheel of Fortune, be conscious of the cycles that you uphold. Be conscious of the things that you uphold. So, like, berating yourself or whatever it is. I don't know what this is. This is going to be personal for each of you, but the Wheel of Fortune often talks about continuing cycles. So I want to say be conscious of that, because it feels like you have a fair amount of significant movement towards a new beginning. But how effective is that going to be if you're bringing a lot of the past into this future energy? Show me the Five of Wands here for Taurus. Two of Wands. So different directions. Which avenue do you choose to take? I would say try to take the direction that is least self-ruining, that is least negative, where you're going to basically step away from things that cause you to become entrenched in negativity, in sadness, in darkness, things that cause you to be addicted to things, alcoholism, food, gambling, sex. There's a lot of different things, different coping mechanisms for different things. Here we need to be conscious of what we're doing. I think the direction that you can move forward towards is going to be something very healthy, but it depends on how little you bring from here. Show me the Fool. You have the Page of Pentacles here for the Fool. And funny enough, you have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is here too. So it's like you have a new beginning. You have the potential for more. You have the opportunity to build something from the ground up and take your time while you're doing it, which is wonderful for stability and effectiveness in your projects and in your life. But then we have this conflict about it. It's like, I'm in, and then I'm conflicted. It's like I kind of said, this ongoing thing. This might also be a situation, kind of remembering. Do you remember when I said this is not something that just goes away? Like we will always have like internal debates, internal issues with ourselves. It just depends upon how we connect to them and how we own them and how we free ourselves from them. How much time and space we allow them to take within our experience and within our minds and hearts. We have the ability to diminish that should we need to. Okay. It's just depending upon how deeply you look into it. I feel here with the Wheel of Fortune too, because it is about cycles, I feel that this energy is just going to be a continuous thing. It's going to decrease as things go by, as time goes by, and as you create different ways to look at things and react and interact with yourself. But overall, not a bad situation. It's just basically a very introspective reading here. The Fool and the Magician, beautiful energy moving towards the future. So much power behind that. So much power behind that. You know, um, what's her name? I love her. Her channel is called My Angelic Karma, Your Angelic Karma. Um, she, what did she say? It's the Fool. She says the Fool comes from down under. So the way I perceive that is when we come from these deep, dark places within ourselves, we end up, having to look within all of these things. And what happens with the Fool is like we're put upon a new path. And depending upon how we utilize what we've experienced, from that deep, dark place, it gives us, better footing in regard to how to advance and progress in our new experience here, how to really utilize everything at our fingertips. It's a positive new beginning. It just has to begin. Show me the Magician, please. Show me the Magician for Taurus. You have the 10 of Wands, and at the bottom of the deck, you have the 8 of Cups. So being very tired. Now, with the 10 of Wands, I feel it's interesting. The 10 of Wands it's about burdens that we willingly carry, okay? Things that we sometimes have a hard time letting go of, things that we know that we need to let go of, but we don't. And kind of like I said, this whole thing about like, it's an ongoing process within how we communicate with ourselves, how we feel about life, how we feel about our place in life, what we can do. I feel that there's an energy here where we need to actually really, before you take this step towards that Magician energy, manifestation and newness, there's a lot that needs to be unburdened here, okay? There's a lot that needs to be unburdened here. And it's kind of beautiful that the 8 of Cups is here as well, because this is literally walking away from those problems. If you look deeply into, okay, so you see the moon here? Oftentimes the moon is going to depict a lot of emotionally confusing energy where we're not settled within our emotions. We don't know how to trust our emotions. We're confused by them. We don't know what to feel. It's like being in a dark room, and trying to find whatever you're trying to find in a dark room, and you have no directions because you've not been there before. Like, what the fuck? How are you supposed to do that? Now, I love this because look at this card. He's walking away, but he has a staff, okay? We have a lot of fire energy here and a lot of conflicting energy. And what I'm feeling here is it's releasing this, dropping the burdens, and stepping on out into a new beginning with the Ace of Wands. I know the Ace of Wands isn't here, but it's right here in this card. The Ace of Wands is about new beginnings. It's about finding balance, creative energy. And I feel that's another thing too, Taurus. It's very important for us to connect with our creative selves. I was reading an article the other day, and they were talking about even if you suck at drawing or artwork or anything, do it, because it creates this connection between the brain and the emotions and all of it. And it's a really beautiful connecting mechanism, a device, a tool to fine-tune ourselves into better beings. It's a healthy thing. It's like self-care. It's really kind of wonderful because you're creating. There's an energy that happens within creation. That is when we're able to manifest. A lot of people say, oh, just manifest. Well, how do we manifest? A lot of people are confused about that. You could go in the corner and chant Om till you fucking die. I mean, whatever you want to do. But manifestation starts small. What types of things do you want? Okay, I don't know. I want something from the store. I go get it. That's manifesting my energy to get up. And then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. How do you choose to manifest in your life? Well, it happens when you release problems, release these things that you're so connected to, and start to actually effectively utilize the information and lessons that you've experienced to get towards what you want, releasing these problematic burdens. But again, I feel that that's going to be an ongoing cycle. I don't believe that, because that is an ongoing cycle, I don't believe that it's going to just get in the way of a new beginning for you. I don't. But I feel that if you are able to tame that with this lion here, the outcomes will be easier, will be better, will be happier. Okay. So let's go ahead and ask for some advice. Can you please give me advice for Taurus? So you have 9 of air and the High Priestess. It's the 9 of swords and the High Priestess. Virgo Pisces energy. Bottom of the deck, the Ace of Water, so the Ace of Cups. Pardon me. All right, 9 of air. The 9 of air is where we are constantly in our mind. We're worried. It's sleepless nights. It's about, frustrations, things that we don't let go of. Mental issues and frustrations that we have about situations that we can't let go of. It's the constant cycle within our head. It keeps us up. It causes us to not be hungry. It causes us just to fixate on things. Be careful about that energy. Pomegranates represent wisdom. Utilize the wisdom and understanding that you have from what you've gone through and what you're going through on the internal levels to fine-tune what you need to change towards your progression, your put your attention towards what you need in the future. What do you want? How do you want to change it? What is the process for you? Each person is going to be different, What is the process for you? Where do you need to let go of the guilt, the problems? I feel a lot of guilt in this reading too, for some reason, especially with that 10 of Wands, like guilt. What is it? Why do we have it? Is it real? Or is it just like a brainwashed mindset? Like, what is it? Like, there's real guilt. Like when we do something really fucked up, like own it, pay attention to it, rectify it. But like, there's a lot to not be guilty about too. And I think it's important to think about that aspect as well, and to find some sort of like common ground with it, so we're not constantly like berating ourselves. Pomegranates represent wisdom. Utilize that wisdom. The High Priestess here. Now, this can talk about tapping in. Overall, I feel that it's talking about tapping into your intuitive self, your psychic self, your energetic being self, your subtle body self. Paying attention to the energies that you have in your life that are not visible to most. Okay? So we have our subtle bodies, we have our aura, we have our psychic fields, we have all of these energies that are around us. It's like, how do we tend to these things? I know that sounds like super out on the limb, airy-fairy, like whatever it may sound, but how do we tend to these things? How do we actively start to engage in the process of engaging with ourselves on a psychic level? Well, you can meditate. You can go in the corner and chant Om. You can, take a bath, crystal healing, tarot reading. Like, there's so many different ways to connect to your energies, your psychic self, those things that are hidden, but there, I think it's a lot of fine tuning in regard to how you communicate with those etheric connections and etheric beings and like your guides. Like, I feel that this is an opportunity, Taurus, for you to start to connect deeper with these energies and have the faith and trust to walk away from things that don't work for you and not feel guilty about it, not feel tied to it, With the Ace of Water here, the Ace of Water is the Ace of Cups. So it talks about healing. Yeah, it talks about love as well, but it talks about healing, purification, getting your mind and your heart back in order. Plantain is the name of this card. These are herbal cards. Plantain, most people have it in their yards and they just mow it down. It's it's a wonderful herb. It's a wonderful, it cleanses the blood. It cleans out wounds. It's wonderful for mosquito bites and burns and things of that nature. You can eat it, very, very cleansing, very antibacterial, cleansing, viral type of energies within this plant. Very, very healing stuff. And I love that it's just right by this huge expanse of water. So where are we needing to heal our emotions? Where are we needing to find that balance between the, the practical and the spiritual, the emotional? It's like, how are we needing to even those energies up, Taurus? So let's go ahead and pick a Nocturna, and then we will be done. Show me energies present for the sign of Taurus, please. What does Taurus need to know about? What does Taurus need to know about? Okay. So you have Moth and Weeping Willow. Let's read about these. Moth and Weeping Willow. Where's Moth? Just gotta find them. Okay. So Moth, distraction, being led astray, burnout. Moths are nocturnal insects that follow the light of the moon. However, with the abundance of artificial lighting from human civilization, moths are often led astray. Where are we? Conversely, in our consumerist society, we are led to believe that things like earthly possessions and money will provide emotional fulfillment. However, like a moth drawn to a lamp, this is not the case. You may need to adjust your course and not let distractions get in the way. Examine whether the things you are pursuing will actually bring fulfillment and positivity into your life. Yeah, I think that's also on an emotional level too, on the internal speak, how we speak to ourselves. Weeping Willow. Sorrow, grief, flexibility. The willow tree was considered a symbol of grief and mourning in the 16th and 17th century Europe. Chinese folklore associates them with ghosts due to their shape, and it is considered unlucky to have one in your yard. It is also a flexible tree, able to bend very far without snapping. This teaches us to bend with the universe and with what life throws at you rather than fighting. I think so. I definitely think so. But you also have more say in it than you think. So, Taurus, I'm going to let this reading go here. I hope that this was helpful for you. If it was, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you choose to donate, there's a link in the description box below. And I will talk to you guys later. I hope everything's well. Good luck, Taurus. Bye-bye.